Hi everyone, welcome back. Good morning. It is Tuesday. I suppose it's afternoon. We're just afternoon here in Los Angeles. And welcome back into a Tuesday detox practice. And so Tuesdays we try to slide in and work and incorporate the Yin style of yoga by Kesu. And we'll be holding the poses and for a longer period of time. But remember, these are not active holds. It's not like you're in Warrior 2 for 5 minutes. And these are places and positions you put yourself, and sometimes we'll use a block, or if you don't have a block, you can use a folded blanket. You could also use a pillow. So have some of those objects to support your body around your body, and so that as we get into the practice, you have the opportunity to sit and to feel the release. Something that I always like to point out in the detox practice is to stay patient and also appreciate the slow transition. So it's not moving ourselves quickly and swiftly and from one place to the next. The slower the better. And when you land, finally, coming into what's called the rebound, which is basically the space that you've created, but the realization of that space having been created and translated to your mind, this is really the gem of the detox practice and for your body physically, mentally, and emotionally. And something that I've noticed most recently, and I mentioned this on yesterday's live stream, is the reawakening of the emotional body within us as human beings as we continue to go through a global pandemic. And even though it's getting better here in California, it doesn't mean that it's not getting worse in other places of the world. And so we have to remember, if there is one person suffering in any way in this globe, on this planet, then we're all suffering in a certain way. So I know that it's very easy and convenient, especially having been through a tremendous amount of stress, and for so many of us, and for the last 16 months or so, to just say, hey, my life looks better right now. And I'm not saying live in that weight of the stress or the anxiety, but what I am suggesting is to hold some of that in space and reality, that it's not only about what we can see right here in front of us. It's a great teacher to explore that we're all connected. And so the oneness, and still engage, with your community and your opinion and your conversations, and all of that is beautiful. This is just something that we're putting in and establishing as part of our foundation as a human being, possibly something we don't even really talk about. I always say, if I go out to dinner with some friends, I'm not talking about this stuff. I'm hanging out and chatting and catching up and what's going on in people's lives. And there's a time and a place. And so this is that for me, and hopefully for you, to go inward and to explore whatever we can in regards to the practice and whatever makes sense for us today. Thank you, some of you joining us live. If you have a block, use a block. And we're going to start in a reclined supine Baddha Konasana. And so bringing yourself down onto your elbows, and then having that block, folded up blanket or pillow, going across the shoulder girdle. So if it's too low, you're going to feel it there in your thoracic spine. If it's too high, and you're going to feel it catch up around your neck. When it's just right and you can make those adjustments, it'll allow you to kind of roll over and create the arch, right? Supported extension through your spine. The hips stay heavy, and the soles of your feet meet as the knees fall apart. And depending on what you're feeling here into your shoulders, into your neck, right, it could be nice to have a secondary and support, right, a pillow, or something that elevates the head a little bit if letting the head go down onto the ground is too much. And so work it out, get yourself established in the shape, and start to realize the target of the shape, and so where you're feeling it most. And then we can begin to soften our tone around that sensation. And so softening the tone just means, right, let your body settle. And so it's relative stillness. And we're not enforcing a breath pattern. We're not instigating or intensifying the breath pattern. We're slowing down and letting the breath be as natural as it possibly can be. Yes, sometimes you can get so relaxed in your body experiencing the release, and that you nod off. You even fall asleep. And for a moment, just last week when we were recording this class, right? That happened to me. So if I was gone for a little while longer on one side versus the other, I remember, and yet I don't really remember, but I remember nodding off and then realizing, ooh, it dipped out for a second, which is okay. I've seen people in this practice completely fall asleep. They miss the next three poses. They eventually make their way back and pick it up right where it left off. And if you have your head on a pillow, secondary support, and you're welcome to slowly remove that and see if the head can rest down to the ground for the last minute. And use your arms by your sides, your elbows into the mat. The head will feel a little bit heavier. Use your arms, support, and roll your chin into your chest as you make your way up just enough. And take one hand to slide out the pillows, okay, the blocks, and the props, and then go ahead and lay yourself all the way back down onto the ground. And the natural curves of your spine, and adjust your hips, let your legs go straight. And here's the rebound, everybody. Let yourself land in it. And close your eyes. Sometimes you can feel an overwhelming effect of relaxation, a vivid experience and connection with space, like literally feeling the expansion or the separation from your stress or anything that has been stress or attached into your mind. Enjoy it. And bring a little movement into your fingers, into your toes. And if you'd like to put your pillow or your prop, your block underneath your head, go ahead and set that in support. And bring your right knee into your chest. And give your knee a little squeeze into your chest. Feel your hip flexion. And you can let the knee come away from the chest, and then we'll come into a supine twist. And with or without a pillow under your head or a block. And tuck your left hip all the way up underneath. And get your right knee to roll down and towards the ground, and then the weight of your right arm can hang back behind you. And then you should be able to find a place where and you're not having to hold on. So in a vinyasa practice, we would have our left hand on our right thigh, and we'd be drawing our knee closer to the mat. So let's find a balancing point on the outer left hip, and where your right knee is rolled over, your arms can stretch out, and the shoulders can get heavy. And it's one of those places in the body, the spine, where it can feel so dramatic. Sometimes you're in postures and you're like, wow, I am like really back bending deep. And then you see a picture of yourself doing it and you're like, well, I wasn't really back bending at all. Okay? But inside it felt like the deepest back bend you've ever done. Same thing in the twist, right? It could feel like, oh, I'm twisting and so deeply, but that resistance, see, it's all relative. The resistance that you're holding in your body versus the resistance that I'm holding in my body, why it's there, how it got there, where it stems from, right? Can it go away? Will it go away? And so giving ourselves a good amount of time and to allow the body to release. And what you're feeling certainly can be on the spectrum of discomfort, but not pain. If you're feeling pain, your translation is the only way that pain makes sense or is defined. So if it translates as pain in your mind, then it's pain. Right? Don't sit in pain. Make a little adjustment. And you can be with, but never forcing ourselves through pain. This is not a no pain, no gain type of practice. Take us a little bit deeper. If you take one full breath in and exhale, release all the air from your lungs. And feel your twist set in a little bit deeper. Last 30 seconds on this side. Go really slow. Be gentle as we untwist the spine. Start to bring your right leg back. And use your right foot to land on the ground. Support yourself. And then you can use the right foot to lift your hips just a couple inches. Slide them back to the left. And then we can release straight to the back flat. If you'd still prefer to have the pillow under your head, you can have that arms by your sides. And enjoy the release, everyone. In the separation, in the space, and we can indulge ourselves in the peace. Your body is more at peace. It was held up in greater amount of stress and compression. Your mind is associating into your body, and so it's held up in stress. Little movement to your fingers and your toes. Bend your left leg. Bring your knee into your chest, please. Hands onto your left shin. And you feel the knee roll up into your chest. And slowly back the knee away from the body. And we'll come into a supine twist. And you can adjust on this side if you want to stay with the pillow or remove it. And tuck the right hip all the way underneath. And so the left leg gets going with gravity. And that way we're not holding on to it. And then your left arm can reach back behind you. And the second side of a twist is technically the counter twist. And the twist into the twist that you did previously. And begin to roll ourselves back onto the hips. And land on your back, let your legs go straight. Enjoy the release. And you may notice a progression into the depths and that you can go. Every time you get to a rebound, feel yourself drop right into that relaxation. Bring some movement back into your fingers and your toes. And remove your pillow if you have it under your head, please. And let your head come all the way back down onto the ground. A little bit deeper stretch. Point your toes. Reach your arms over your head. Might feel nice to yawn. And then bend your legs so that your feet are flat. And come around onto your right side. And we'll set up a pose for our shoulders and our upper back called thread the needle. And we're used to doing that with our legs and our outer hips. But we're going to do it in a detox version today. So tabletop. And I'll set the pillow. Really getting your money's worth with this pillow action today. And then slide your right arm across underneath your left armpit. And you pull the pillow in so it's just above your shoulder. And it'll be a nice place to rest the side of your head. You make any adjustments here. And it leaves some room. And so that as we soften into the flexion of the hips, in the child's pose section from the waist down, and for your upper back to really stretch itself out. And if you prefer not to have the pillow or the block underneath your head, you can certainly slide it out and let the side of your head go all the way down onto the ground like you normally would in a vinyasa class, one of our fits or flow practices. About halfway through on this side. And if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, if you'd like to remove the pillow from under the head, and you're welcome to let it set in deeper if it's plenty deep enough. Observe any parts of your body and where you may be holding on, holding yourself up. And I would encourage you to let yourself release and fall into it a little bit more. Last minute. Avoid if you're feeling as though you want to fidget or move out of this. Maybe even more so down into your hips versus what you're feeling in your shoulders or across your back. Stay with it. It's totally fine if your right hand has got a little bit of those tingles, if it feels like your arm is falling asleep. Be patient and be gentle with your body as you slowly begin to slide and your right arm back out. And so the arm is going to feel heavier. Right? Slide your pillow, if you had a pillow underneath your head, off to the side, and then we're going to release ourselves down onto your stomachs. And so our Shavasana will be on the belly. And take the kinks out of the hips. As your legs go straight. Relax, relax. Bring your arms down by your sides. Your right arm should feel different than your left arm. And turn to your right cheek. Land in the release. All the way from your low back through your entire spine. And through your shoulders, into your neck, and eventually into the back of your jaw. And deeper breath brings you back just enough. And slide the hands under your shoulders. And turn your chin. We can make our way back up to all fours. And bring your pillow back to the top if you like that underneath your head. Spread your knees apart. Just going to switch my microphone here. And then take your hips back towards your child's pose. Thread the needle, left arm underneath your right armpit. And then as you settle back, you can position the pillow underneath the side of the head. And give our left arm, shoulder some space to release down to the ground. And completely normal if you feel one arm a little bit more than the other arm. Our body carries, I mentioned this many times in the detox practice, our bodies carry imbalances. Right? Not only do we favor one side of the body versus the other, but we have dominance versus non-dominance. And the repetition of the patterns based on the things that we're doing. And so it's mindful to look at what you're doing in your life, how you're using the tool of the body. And at least incorporating a practice like this once a week will help break a lot of that patterning down. And it should translate into a more peaceful calm and existence for your mind, because your mind is your body and your body is your mind. It's all connected. last minute on this side. Great pose, especially if you tend to hold a lot of life in your shoulders and across your back, like many people do. And start to slide the left arm back out. It will feel heavier than probably when you started. And slide your pillow off your mat. And then we can start to make our way forward through the hips and to release the legs out straight behind you. And release the legs straight, arms down by your sides. And turn to your left cheek. Go ahead and land in your belly shavasana. Might feel good to feel that sigh, all the air out of your body. You can turn your chin back, bring your hands under your shoulders. We'll make our way back up to all fours. And once you get to your tabletop, and feel free to move it around a little bit. You move your hips side to side. Roll your hips forward and back. Anything that feels good in your body based on what we've done with the body so far. You can roll your head around in circles. It's a little free flow with a barrel roll. And so now you're moving with some of the space that you've created, some of the peace that now sits in your mind. And so that's another part of in this practice, not only sitting in and acknowledging in the release, sometimes easier than others, but then to actually move with that, take this with you from your mat into your life, into the conversation, right, in other parts of your day. And once you get set back up, crawl your knees forward a little bit. Cross your right ankle over your left ankle, and so you can see the ankles cross. Now this could be a little bit uncomfortable. Spread your knees a little bit wider, and then start to sit your bum down, onto the ankle, onto the feet. And so if you're already feeling it, right, you've got your shin bone cutting across the back of your Achilles tendon. And if you're already feeling it, you can stay here with your hands on the ground. And if you're able to evolve, right? In the practice and sensation, again, discomfort is okay, but pain, right? Not something that we need to sit with. But if it's uncomfortable, but you can sit up, rest your hands in your lap. Let this shake out any cobwebs in your mind. It's such a good, we'll say, good gnarly position for the cobwebs of the mind, the tightness as we release so much in the shoulders and around the neck. And we won't be here too long. But enough and so that you can feel any of that residual tension that you may be holding on to. See, initially, then the body wants to fight back against it, and so the grip comes in. And this is more of the acute stress. There's a threat happening around, right? That protection mode of the nervous system clicks in. And then watch as you can kind of ease and soften your way out of that. And if you're still with me, open your eyes, come back forward onto your hands, and we'll switch sides. We'll go right on to the other ankle on top. So bring your right ankle under and take your left ankle on top. And go ahead and walk the hips back, sit onto your ankles. And make any adjustments. Again, uncomfortable is okay. No need to sit in pain. And feel it loosen your neck, your jaw, the muscles on your face. If you want to move your head around a little bit, go for it. And take a deep breath in. And full breath out. And go ahead and come forward onto your hands. Yes, uncross your ankles. Great job. If you'd like a sip of water before you lie down, go ahead and take a sip. And then we'll turn around to lie down onto your backs, please. And let your legs release. You might feel the tingles in your toes and from your ankles being compressed. And recall where we started and all the way up into your shoulders, into your back in this practice. As you lie down, arms by your sides, palms facing up. And once you lie down, release, let go. If you need something or you'd like something to cover your eyes, you're welcome to do that. And I'd say open up through the space and so that you could stay here and enjoy the relaxation of your practice and for as long as you would like. And if there's not something pulling at you to get onto immediately, and stay as long as it feels good to stay. The longer the better. And be able to absorb the benefits of your practice. And again, the integration, how you take what you're doing here on your mat into the rest of your day is totally and freely up to you to explore. Right? In the next conversation that comes, right? The next time you go to, get something to eat, and how you interact and with the people around you, how you feel inside of your own skin, so important to check in. And so thank you all for sharing the practice today. And you reach out if you need anything, if you have any questions and comments or feedback on the live stream. You can always email me, joek@urban728yoga.com. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for your practice. Namaste. Namaste. Hi.